Tuned into Stranger Than Fiction News, broadcasting live from the dark. Broadcast will turn out, to be quite honest with you. This is more of a test than anything else, but we will cover the news. And we will get into something rather interesting. NBC News spent weeks reporting on a contributor's journey battling coronavirus, but he never tested positive for it. 5 tests negative, ladies and gentlemen. But this reporter, Dr. Joseph Fair, I almost want to say Pharaoh, or Phanos. In any case, Dr. Joseph says, undiagnosed suspected COVID illness for nearly 2 months remains an undiagnosed mystery, as a recent antibody test was negative. Dr. Joseph says he had a myriad of COVID symptoms, was hospitalized in a COVID ward, and treated for COVID-related comorbidities, despite testing negative. Now, he describes all sorts of symptoms: pneumonia, diffuse lung injury, and, this is, fairly recent in terms of experiencing flu-like symptoms. Pretty much, summertime. And there's a lot of summertime cases. And reading through this thread, you start to understand that Dr. Joseph Fair is not alone in terms of the experience. And, here's kind of an example. Brother-in-law hospitalized despite 3 negative COVID tests. 3 days after discharge, he was readmitted to ICU with blood oxygen levels below 50. Chest x-rays and a 4th test confirmed COVID. He was placed on a ventilator and they killed him. They put him on the ventilator and they kill the guy. But you have to wonder what leads up to the ventilator. Anybody out there? How's the stream going? We don't know what's going on with the stream, but let's check out the chat. Can you hear us out there? We're broadcasting live from the farm. Want to give a big shout out to everybody out there in the audience. Who's that guy? Anybody know that guy? Yo, Jan Vanderwalt, what's going on? Michael Higgins, hello. Michigan Woodsman, Dee Sally Sailor. Is it working? Dude, we're so hacking the death towers right now. But, it requires some skill with shielding and appropriate precautions, if you will. Buffering, it's buffering. Is the voice buffering, or is what's laggy? Yeah, it's going to be laggy. We're at 0.5 megabits per second right now, according to the speed test. We got the cantenna going on. We're literally on the farm. We're so fucking far away from a death tower right now. You can barely see it on the horizon. And I'm not sure if anybody knows what a cantenna is, but you guys are actually experiencing sound interruption. So it's buffering now. Yeah, it's, like I said, we got 5 megabits per second, 0.5. We should run the speed test live on air. You guys would laugh. You guys would laugh at it. But we're keeping the video simple, so, hopefully the audio comes through. We'll try and remaster something for a real broadcast later, but this is just kind of like a warm-up session. Live. I'm glad that people are able to hear us. We're going to continue on with this presentation. And the reason that we're just starting to explore this is because the video guy's girlfriend, not my girlfriend, I'm not having relations with her, but the video guy's girlfriend keeps talking to me about there is no virus. This is, the wonderful Bella from STFN Reloaded fake book. And all the time, there is no virus, there is no virus. And I'm like, well, look, it's certainly a possibility, but we have no evidence. We have no evidence. And you can't really run with a story without any evidence. But here comes this baffling case of Dr. Joseph Fair, who absolutely seems to think that he was, stricken by COVID, but all the tests were negative. And we've been talking about the testing, the COVID, and this is, kind of like making the rounds everywhere right now. People are talking about it. They're saying, oh, he faked it, they're liars, which is possible. But, you go through the thread, and you've got, all sorts of people, showing up. Look, they've been sick for months and all of their tests were negative. Spain here, according to the BBC, concludes that many recovered show no signs of antibodies, tested 60,000, they say. And basically, here in this one, Chris Clark, this illness is so strange. Friend was very sick but tested negative for COVID. See that? So, any case, video guy's on vacation. He's enjoying the farm. But the tests, seem to not pick up anything. So the question is, why aren't these tests working? There really isn't a whole lot of information on what's really going on with these tests. But we see all sorts of cases where, people are sick, but the tests are negative. So, what's going on? And it's either that this virus, was engineered to not be picked up on radar, like a stealth fighter, or there's something else that's making people sick. What do you guys think out there? And are you guys still out there? Is this still going? It looks like it's still going. So yeah, we do apologize for the shitty broadcast. We're out in the farm, and we're just kind of testing this connection just to see what it's like here at 0.5 megabits per second. And it's not enough for a fully automated or animated broadcast, but yo Ghana, what's going on? I kind of want to get the time being, because it's just too early for the news, isn't it? What time is it over there? What time is it where you're at right now? So Michael Higgins says that there is a big percentage of farce to this COVID enigma made by the controllers. And we've got by Kimberly that says the test is for your DNA. And look, I mean, they're actively trying to acquire all the DNA that they can. What are they doing with it is another question. But I think it's kind of like along the lines of the Bitcoin enigma. And they have everybody mining for coins, but they're doing something else with these Bitcoin servers, if you will. They're doing something else with all of that processing power. So what are they doing exactly? Jessica Splain says it's real. We feel that there definitely is a virus. The question is, why isn't it showing up? And here's a possibility. There could be a virus, but the people that are getting, the worst of it aren't being hit just with the virus, but they're being hit with something else. Because I think everybody out there has been infected. People haven't been severely impacted, but some people are, as if the oxygen was just, irradiated right out of their bodies. Then we started learning about the distance of the beam. Rather interesting. There's a lot of 60 gigahertz in the cities. And, the virus is as real as 5G. It's probably as real as cancer. I'm not sure if anybody would argue that cancer doesn't exist. Something like that. The 12 tribes, the descendants of Abraham, and who knows? but they're searching for something. And you know, they're using all of these family tree websites as kind of like a honey trap. Ah, the video stopped, did it? I knew it would do that. Are we back? Stream is back up. Are we back? Oh, it's back. Yeah, look, see, we tried to go to Nextdrain live with this 0.5 megabit per second connection here, and just didn't do it. I'm glad we're back. I'm not sure what's going to happen here, but we're testing out. We're seeing what we can do with 0.5 megabits. It's not a whole lot. So what did Mark C say? Mark C made a point. Infection is the cover to cover the numbers that were low in the first round because 5G was not yet widely activated. The new executive order for 5G came out during the first wave. A lot to be said. We noticed that a lot of new 5G went up while everybody was locked down. There's no telling, you know, all the things they were able to do while people were basically confined to their homes. But yeah, the broadcast is probably going to keep cutting out. Let's see if we can let the stream catch up a little bit. We'll continue to monitor the chat and hopefully just turn this into a podcast and see if that helps with the audio a little bit. How's the stream now? Probably just as messed up. Look, it's kind of, you know, becoming a distraction, so we're going to get back to the rest of the story. Ladies and gentlemen, right now, NBC News spent weeks documenting its science contributors' battle with COVID, pneumonia, lung damage, and the like, and, you know, describing all the symptoms that other people are describing, and has come on the record saying he took 5 tests and they were all negative. So there's been a lot of negative tests. The question is, why? And it's either that this virus was engineered to stay under the radar, or there is no virus. And I think that is, you know, this is probably the single best example, or the best evidence that there is no virus. Here we have a doctor, and we have other doctors, you know, in this thread too, saying pretty much the same thing. And so you've got doctors that have been infected by this virus, and the tests they take say that they're negative. Now a test or some other test, I mean, people feel pretty confident that they work, but do they work really? How do we know that they work? And now all of a sudden you really have to wonder, you know, how effective are these tests? But contributor's journey battling coronavirus, but he never tested positive, not one positive test result. Why is that, ladies and gentlemen? So we are. So appreciate everybody that's been a long time listener, especially, you know, people that have been following this broadcast for years. I'm seeing that the stream is down again. Is it offline? Here we go again. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to wait to see if it comes back. Maybe it'll come back. Maybe it won't. You know? It kind of looks like we're still streaming, but you never know. Looks like we still have a connection. I'm not sure. We're back. Okay, we're back, bitches. Look, see that? The Matrix is hacking back. Look, I appreciate all the fans that have followed us to the backup page. This content is pretty exclusive. You guys are seeing a lot of stuff that, you know, the rest of the networks aren't seeing as far as the news is concerned. You know, on the Facebook page, we pretty much only post 1 video a day, and sometimes we're here twice a day. So, yeah, keep chatting, and hopefully, you know, if it cuts out, it'll be back. We're on the farm right now. We're so far away from civilization. We have to use a cantenna to actually hack into a death tower that's miles away. I'm not sure if anybody knows what a cantenna is. and I'm surrounded by birds and chickens and roosters and geese and all sorts of things. You never know what might happen on the farm. I think they made a movie like that once. It was like a horror movie. And that's what our life has become, is a horror movie in a sense. And it's only going to get worse. All of the indicators that we see right now is that this is going to get worse. Now, we're trying to isolate what is in fact causing this disease, but, you know, they're not going to let off the accelerator. They've basically floored it. I mean, they've floored it when it comes to this Agenda 21. And they're not going to slow down. They're not going to stop. And the only way to make this stop is to basically arrest and eliminate all these people that are on television. You know, the politicians, the news reporters, deport them all to China or something. But, yeah, the farm. Yeah, it's funny that, you know, people would say that. Scorpio. But, in any case, it's, right now, all of the indicators out there say that this is going to get much worse. And, you know, the mainstream media has been lagging behind our reports for like 2 months, 3 months. You know, what we say today, they'll be reporting on 2 or 3 months from now. And look, there's, you know, I'm sure a lot of people kind of have the gut feeling of what we're saying anyways, but, you know, bigger news corporations really kind of have to vet and verify a lot of things before they can publish and print, for fear of, you know, massive lawsuits and the like. But in any case, you know, we feel at this stage that all of the indicators are there that this is going to turn into, you know, the hugest of catastrophes. And, you know, the reasons are, firstly, there's no herd immunity. There's no immunity, you know, even for the sheeple, for the most part. And even people that feel like they're asymptomatic, MRIs and the like show that, you know, there's still some kind of damage going on, whether you notice it or not. And in any case, there's endless virus reservoirs. The virus isn't going to go away. It's got plenty of opportunity to mutate and become even worse. And then you've got the deep state pushing all sorts of buttons along the way. There's no telling where this is going next. In any case, I want to give a big shout out to everybody in the audience. Unknown Event, Mark C, Scott Gator, Alien Hunter, Scorpio 2020. Speaking of aliens, doesn't it look like, you know, they're trying to exterminate life on Earth, terraforming the planet, dropping their clones everywhere, controlling, you know, public perception and the like. But yeah, they're trying to get you through everything. You know, Mark C is talking about baby food, vaccines, but you'd be surprised by how much stuff is actually toxic out there. And, you know, from your skin cream to your shampoo to deodorants, you name it. Even furniture. You know, I'm not sure how many people have like IKEA furniture or wood furniture, but the varnish that they use on it is highly toxic. And so, you know, most people are getting, you know, poisoned by a million different ways, and it's all slow kill. But whatever's going on here, it looks like they've completely poisoned the well when it comes to everything. And it's very difficult to find, you know, things that are basically pure and healthy out there. So what else can we say? You know, the big news here, and again, we're broadcasting from the farm, no pun intended, but hacking the matrix, hacking the death towers at a 0.5 megabit speed, according to speed tests. So, you know, it's basically a podcast right now. We'll have to pre-record and upload. Yesterday's show took an hour to upload. It was rather annoying. It usually takes like, a couple minutes. But it's like being back in the 80s. Any case, the big breaking news. NBC News spent weeks reporting on a contributor's journey battling coronavirus, but he never had it. Took 5 tests, all sorts of tests, swab tests, antibody tests. And that's a thing, that we should talk about a little bit. We've heard or we've seen news reports of the nose swab test, the antibody test. There's also what looks like a swab of like, the inner lungs as well. You don't even want to think about how they get that. And they say that's the most accurate. Being able to swab like, your bronchioles, basically. Learned that supposedly it's cut with HIV, cut with rabies and the like. And we've talked about that in previous broadcasts. So why would that be? And this virus came from a lab. And then we've got the Newsweek report, Giuliani and Rudy Giuliani saying that Fauci paid for this virus at the Wuhan lab. We've played that clip 1,000 times. And so there's a huge amount of evidence that there is a virus. It's just that this virus was made to stay under the radar.